with either Archie or Lily, and it needs to happen. They need to prove that those children, Meghan and Harry, are not entitled to privacy in this matter. And their privacy is trumped by our right to know that no bastard is going to sit on the throne of this country. All Harry and Meghan need to do is prove to us that she popped those babies out. And that's all they need to do. And if they don't, it is unfair on the children. It's also unfair on the royal family.
Something is seriously rotten in Sussex. And no, it's not just another bad PR week. Meghan and Harry swore up and down they wanted privacy. But now, Lady C and Tom Bower are cracking open a royal cover-up so messy, it could rewrite everything we thought we knew about Archie and Lilibet's births.
Surrogacy scandal has entered the mainstream media domain. Now, this story may have been somewhat overshadowed this week.
From the moment Meghan Markle announced her first pregnancy, the whispers began. Not because royal watchers weren't thrilled. This was the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's first child after all, but because something about the whole vibe felt off.
Them filming and including in the Netflix series a private text message. Okay, they don't reveal the contents, but clearly a negative text message that William...
Absolutely. What we're really now seeing is that both of them, having posed as the victim for so long, are really the aggressors. And what I really thought at the end of it as well was this, which I think is a very, very pertinent point. When they came across for the Queen's funeral, and there was that amazing scene outside the castle of meeting the well-wishers in the walk, there was always talk of reconciliation.
Tradition is everything in royal circles. Pregnancies are usually public events, documented, photographed, and shared in polished, glowing moments. Think Diana, gently holding her bump for the cameras, or Kate Middleton glowing outside the Lindo wing in those perfect pastel dresses. But Meghan? She ditched every single tradition in the book.
Children has been simmering for years. The kids are 6th and 7th in line to the throne, but have been under cloak and dagger secrecy since they were born.
Gone were the official palace medical updates. Gone were the friendly press briefings, the subtle calendar cues, even the casual walkabouts where a pregnant royal might give the public a glimpse. The Sussexes locked it down like a Netflix vault. Only carefully staged press releases and hand-picked photo ops far from public view. And any suggestion that the public had a right to know? Flat out dismissed.
To the tower. Well, look, Radar Online, in fairness, they do quote you and say Royal Author Lady Colin Campbell recently challenged the conspiracy of silence and misinformation surrounding both tops.
This wasn't just privacy, it was secrecy. The kind that makes even seasoned palace staff raise an eyebrow. And then came the biggest question mark of all, the hospital. Meghan reportedly gave birth at London's ultra-exclusive Portland Hospital, famous for plush suites and celebrity moms. But according to Lady Colin Campbell, there isn't a single scrap of proof Meghan was ever there. No nurse gossip, no doctor chatter, not even a blurry hallway sighting. Nothing.
One side, Harry and Meghan the other side, smiling and all the rest of it. But at that time, William...
Then came a bizarre Sussex statement. They'd celebrate privately before releasing a heavily edited Archie photo days later, and his face was barely even visible.
Harry and Meghan had already recorded their poison for Netflix. It was already edited. All the stuff that we heard today.
To insiders, it didn't look like a modern couple setting boundaries. It looked like a carefully engineered plan to control the story. Palace aides were scrambling, reporters were frozen out. Even senior royals, allegedly, were kept in the dark.
About Charles lying, about William screaming and shouting, was in the can, was being edited, and they duplicitly did not reveal.
And now, thanks to Lady C and Tom Bower kicking up fresh dust, the same question is roaring back. What exactly were Meghan and Harry hiding during that first pregnancy? Because in the royal world where there's smoke, there's usually a full-on fire.
I mean, Dan, you and I have spoken about this privately, so you know my sentiments on the matter. And also, I have been in touch.
And here's where it gets truly shady. Meghan's super secret pregnancy was one thing. But now, whispers are saying Archie may not have even been born in the UK. Let that sink in. A royal baby, in line to the throne, possibly born on foreign soil. and the palace left in the dark.
What they were going to. Now, Harry's got form on that because he did exactly the same at Prince Philip's funeral when he recorded that whole thing about how his father was responsible.
Lady Colin Campbell swears there was none of the usual activity around Archie's arrival. No royal baby stakeout, no tip-offs to the media, no discreet hospital staff sightings. Absolutely nothing.
My sentiments on the matter. And also, I have been in touch over the years as a result of the public coming to me about this behind the scenes, and I need to be very careful.
Now, sources close to palace aides are quietly entertaining a once unthinkable theory. Archie may have been born abroad, maybe in the US, maybe in Canada, somewhere Meghan felt she could call the shots. Why? One word: control.
I don't want to breach any protocols, let's put it that way. But I mean, this has been simmering behind the scenes for some time. And my own sentiment is very simple.
A foreign birth would mean no royal doctors, no courtiers, no British tabloids sniffing around. Total narrative control, from the delivery room to the press release.
Family owes it to the public of each and every country of which the king is monarch to clear up any doubts about anybody in the line of succession. Meghan's conduct is what has triggered all of this. Oh, Archie doing a deep dive between the knees. Archie competing with Tom Daley before he was even given birth to. Archie's unique qualities, and we need to remember that Archie was truly unique because his first word was crocodile. And Archie, of course, was the product of a union that maritally started when they were roasting chicken. And I leave it at that. But what I will go back to say, in terms without giving too much levity to their Harry and Meghan's really crazed behavior.
But if Archie wasn't born on British soil, and if official paperwork was, let's say, creatively interpreted, then we're not just talking PR drama. This is a constitutional migraine. British nationality and place of birth are critical in royal succession. Any deception here could spark serious questions about Archie's rightful place in the line. For a monarchy built on legitimacy and centuries-old rules, that's dangerous.
Knowing that he'd done his family down in the Apple broadcast, the armchair broadcast, and didn't reveal it. So he's as duplicitous as Meghan, but it's worse because she's an actress. She's got no stake in this country.
Tom Bower, the bulldog of royal biographies, has been digging through flight records, medical files, and visa logs. He's not showing his full hand yet, but his cryptic hints suggest there's a lot more dirt under the surface. Now, it's not just about secrecy, it's about legality. If Archie wasn't born in the UK, why hide it? And what does it mean for the monarchy? Because if the truth comes out, it won't just be reputations at risk. Royal titles could be on the chopping block. At first, it seemed like just a quirky little tweak. Meghan quietly edited Archie's birth certificate, scrapping her given names, Rachel Meghan, and leaving only Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex. But in the palace, even small changes make walls shake. Insiders say this wasn't an accident. It was a move. A calculated power play meant to erase the Meghan Markle of Hollywood and Suits, replacing her with a pure royal identity. Lady C called it symbolic. Meghan wasn't just a duchess by marriage. She wanted to be the duchess, full stop. No middle names, no reminders of her past life. And if you thought Archie's birth was a tangled web, baby number 2, Lilibet Diana, came with even bigger explosions. By then, the Sussexes had bolted to sunny Montecito. No royal doctors, no press pool, no palace oversight, just them, and total control. Investigative bulldog Tom Bower found oddities in the birth certificate. Strange formatting, unusual physician info, even questions over the attending staff. And then came the name Lilibet. That wasn't just any name. It was the Queen's most personal childhood nickname, used only by her closest family, especially Prince Philip. No outsider dared speak it, let alone use it publicly. But Meghan and Harry, they claimed it as their daughter's official name. They swore they had the Queen's blessing. But Lady C says otherwise, that it was an emotional trap. If the Queen objected publicly, she'd look petty. If she stayed silent, it would seem like approval. Either way, Meghan and Harry controlled the story, and it worked, at least for a while. The Sussex PR machine pushed the narrative of love and unity, but behind palace walls, resentment burned. Lilibet wasn't just a baby, she was a PR chess piece. Royal births are normally locked down with protocol, palace-approved doctors, official witnesses, meticulous record-keeping. Meghan shredded that rulebook. She refused the royal medical team, hiring her own private, American-trained doctors. That's not just breaking tradition, that's removing safeguards designed to keep royal births indisputable. Royal insiders saw it as a deliberate attempt to dodge scrutiny. Combine that with the blackout of hospital details, edited documents, and photo delays, and the whole thing started looking like a bigger plan. Rewrite the historical record before anyone can question it. According to Bauer, this wasn't about privacy, it was about power. Meghan and Harry didn't want royal eyes on them. They wanted to own every shot, every statement, every shred of evidence. And they did. No independent photographers, no hospital steps, no press conferences, just Sussex-approved imagery, staged and filtered for their brand. Even seasoned royal reporters were floored. It's like they gave birth in a bunker, one joked, but nobody was laughing for long. The secrecy only fed the conspiracy mill. What were they hiding? Palace insiders say the answer is simple: total narrative dominance. No leaks, no witnesses, no uncomfortable questions. But here's the risk. When a royal story gets too perfect, people stop believing it. And then came Lilibet. The use of the Queen's nickname without her clear consent was the breaking point for some. Prince William, usually the calm diplomat, was said to be livid. To him, it wasn't just emotional manipulation. It was a weaponized stunt. Between that and the birth certificate games, the palace moved into quiet crisis mode. If the Sussexes kept pushing, the firm was ready to start pushing back, with receipts. Now, Lady C and Tom Bauer are doing the work for them. Lady C claims Portland hospital staff never saw Meghan during Archie's supposed delivery dates. No medical records, no staff signatures on the paperwork. Bauer hints at the possibility of surrogacy, without directly saying it, pointing out the unexplained gaps that are met not with transparency, but with accusations of racism or hate. Inside Clarence House, King Charles reportedly called a private meeting. On the agenda, the line of succession, Archie and Lilibet's places in it, and the documentation that supports them. Insiders say Charles quietly ordered an audit of all relevant paperwork: passports, hospital registrations, christening records, even baptism photos. Not to act immediately, but to be ready. In chess terms, the king had just put the Sussexes in check. The only question was whether he'd go for checkmate. The fairy tale was already cracking. Meghan and Harry's Netflix deal, once trumpeted as a $100 million coup, was performance-based. Big payouts would only come if they delivered hits. Outside of their debut docuseries, the projects fizzled. Netflix quietly cut funding. Deadlines slipped. Their animated series got axed. Insiders say panic set in. The Sussex lifestyle, Montecito mansions, private security, private jets, depends on steady big money deals. Meghan began pitching new projects: wellness, parenting, cooking. But Hollywood's response? Lukewarm. The drama was wearing thin. Spotify walked away from Meghan's Archetypes podcast after one season. A senior exec called them not the talent we thought they were. Even Oprah has reportedly kept her distance. Public opinion shifted hard, especially in the UK, where polls show their popularity has nosedived. Even in the US, their image is fading. Once darlings of the progressive media, they're now seen by some as overexposed opportunists. And now, they're facing their biggest threat yet: accusations from two of the most feared royal biographers that they've lied about the births of their children. Lady C and Bauer aren't backing down. Lady C says the senior royals already know the truth and are simply waiting, either for Meghan and Harry to implode or for the right moment to strike. And behind palace doors, there's talk that if even a sliver of these suspicions proves true, it could trigger the unthinkable: a challenge to Archie and Lilibet's succession rights. Harry, caught between loyalty to Meghan and ties to the institution that raised him, is said to be more lost than ever. The fairy tale that began as a modern royal love story is now being picked apart piece by piece, and the cracks are showing. The Sussexes wanted control, but in chasing it, they may have lit the fuse on a royal scandal big enough to blow apart their legacy.